SEMrush training video that I've created. So what I'm going to do is show you, if we have a domain, how we would analyze the domain using SEMrush. So in this case, I've taken a domain b2w.tv, and what I'm looking at is insights that will help me understand this particular domain better. So first thing I've done is I've entered the domain b2w.tv in this URL bar over here, which I get as soon as I log into the dashboard of SEMrush. By default, it will always be on the domain overview, but by any chance, if it's selected on anything else, please ensure you click on domain overview. Then you hit search and it loads up the screen. As we can see, it's then giving us a database over here. So this is very important that we ensure we select the right database. In this case, we wanted United States, so that's the correct database. But if you want a different database, you would just enter that database here, India, Australia, whatever the database might be, right? So we are in the correct database, so I'm not going to change it around. Also, as you can see over here, the organic keywords, it's actually showing you which country does this particular domain rank the best in. So as we can see, it seems to be United States, which is what we know this client is also targeting. So the database is correct. I don't need to change that database here. Another thing is when we look at the traffic trend line on this right side, we can see that the client seems to have massively increased their paid search campaigns. So they were spending hardly any money, the orange line, and then in the last few months they have started spending a lot of money on paid search. Now, in terms of organic, interestingly, we are looking at a 2-year period, and in a 2-year period, they haven't had much of an increase in traffic when we compare the timeline of 2 years. Because back in August 2017, they were sitting at this trend line level of about 283, and today they're sitting at 445. So over a 2-year period, maybe about a 50% odd increase in traffic is not that much. Anyway, also they seem to have made a much bigger increase earlier last year, and then they lost out, and then they came back again. So it gives you some kind of a historical view of what traffic patterns are coming through. Now just remember, this is not necessarily accurate. I've done a lot of studies where I've compared traffic of clients that I know I have access to through their Google Analytics. And when I've compared it to tools like whether it's SEMrush, Alexa, SimilarWeb, or many of these tools, the traffic trends that they predict can sometimes be accurate and sometimes completely inaccurate. And just to give you an idea, that inaccuracy could be as great as negative 80% to as much as over predicting the traffic by 150%. So it's a massive range. So you have to take this with a pinch of salt. This part is one of my favorite parts, the organic position distribution that you see. What it's showing you is in the first 100 positions, that's the first 10 pages of Google, how many keywords has the database discovered on Google. So why this is important is because this tells me what is the opportunity for this particular client. Because anything which is not on the first page of Google, which is these two, positions 1 to 3, which is above the fold, and positions 4 to 10, which is below the fold, but still on the first page of Google, so page 1. So these keywords are the ones that are driving traffic for the client. So there's about 110 odd keywords which are driving client traffic. And then these keywords, which probably are about 1,000 plus keywords here, they are currently not driving any traffic because they are on positions 11 onwards, which means on page 2 you don't get any traffic because no one clicks on that. So if I can understand what these keywords are and then create strategies to drive them to the first page, I'll be able to massively increase traffic to this client. That's why this is one of my favorite tables to look at. And then on the left hand side, I can see what are the top 5 keywords that are driving traffic to the client. So this particular keyword, evolution of animation, which is ranking number 1, and there's a monthly search volume of about 210, and that's giving 22% of the traffic to the client. Now, if that's giving 22% of the traffic to the client, this is another way to also predict how much traffic the client is getting, because if the monthly search volume is 210 and assuming a click-through rate of about maybe 30% for this first position, so that's about 30 to the 60 odd clicks a month the client is getting, and that represents about 22% of the traffic. So about 300 clicks a month organic is what the client is getting in total, which is not much, right? Um, Now, this is another one that I like, which is the competitive positioning map, because here it's telling me who are your competitors and how are they doing. So as we can see over here, B2W is this small circle here, and rawshots.com seems to be not only having a lot more keywords that it's ranking for, but these keywords are also ranking well, and therefore it's getting a much higher amount of traffic compared to the b2w.tv. So that's another way I'm looking at this particular chart, and on the left it's giving me those competitors over here. And then below that, it's also showing me what keywords the client is targeting through their paid search. And as we can see, explainer video seems to be one of the top keywords that they are trying to get paid traffic for. And it's also giving me sample ads for this keyword. So, but at this point of time, I'm not interested in that, as I'm not looking at the paid search side of things. So coming back over here, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the organic keywords, and I'm going to see what these keywords are. So I click on it, and as the page loads up, it gives me a breakdown of what these keywords are. So let's have a look. And it's loaded up, and as we can see, the keyword animation video maker. So currently it's sorted by search volumes, that's monthly search volumes. So SEMrush has probably got a backend tie-in with say the Google Keyword Planner, which gives the amount of traffic a particular keyword might be getting. That is the number of people searching for a keyword. So animation video maker has got 5,400 searches, which is very good, and it's a very related keyword for this client, since this client provides animation videos. But the thing is, since it's ranking on position 18, it's going to get hardly any traffic, and that's sort of also sort of predicted over here with this 16 clicks a month that it's showing. And it's also telling us which particular URL. So in this case, it's a blog of the client that's ranking for this particular keyword. Now, so if I wanted to see what keywords have actually driven traffic for this client, I can click on traffic, and it will sort it by traffic. And shortly as it loads, it will tell me, there you go. So these are the first 10 odd keywords have driven probably 20 to 38, 48, 52, 58, 60. About 65-70% of traffic has come through these keywords. So a lot of them are in the first page of Google, but animation video maker certainly seems to be one keyword that if we can drive traffic for by increasing rankings, we could certainly get a lot more traffic. So this represents a good opportunity for us. Whiteboard video maker could be another one. There's about 390 searches a month. The client's on position 5, and if we can help improve the positioning over here, again we'll be able to get some more traffic. So this sort of gives us an idea of how we would use this tool. Cartoon animation maker, so that's 2,900 searches a month, so that's quite a bit. And the client's on position page 3, so they're hardly getting any traffic at all. So this would be another big one. On the other hand, commercial maker, I'm not sure what the intent of that particular keyword is. So even though there's 1,300 search volume, the way I would then do it is I would go to Google and type in commercial maker to see what are the kind of websites that Google is bringing up. because if it's not related to actually video creation, then this might not be an apt keyword for us. So we need to think of that as well. Similarly, this keyword, cracker free Diwali, um, whether you rank on position 1, it doesn't make much sense for the client because any traffic from here is not really going to help them much. So that's how I would use this particular um, tool in terms of this particular tool within SEMrush. Now, if I also click on overview over here, it will also give me the amount of keywords that are ranking and what's the traffic trend for these keywords. And as we can see, about a year ago, they had about 24 keywords in the top 10 and 5 keywords in the top 3. And that has dropped down to about 15 keywords in the top 3 and 96 keywords in top 10. That's good. 96 keywords in top 10 is actually good. But they're obviously not getting as much traffic, and so we can look at the traffic by clicking on the traffic matrix here. And again, this is what we were looking at earlier when I started off the recording and I was talking to you about it. Now, another one that I would like to show over here is I would look at the competitors over here, and I would probably take a screenshot of this particular screen, as it would tell me what are the competitors here, and I can show that to the client as well. So as we can see now, Wikipedia is not a great competitor for me to be competing against. So I would rule that out when I'm looking and doing some more analysis. Similarly, I would rule out Quora, YouTube, etc. Because what the client's business is actually making videos. So that's different to a YouTube and a Quora. So, again, that's how I'm using this particular tool. Yeah, so I think I've given you a pretty good idea of how we can use this tool. Just trying to think if, another way we can use this tool, so I just remembered, is, so let's take a competitor over here, and in this particular case, let's say rawshots.com seems to be a competitor that is interesting. So if I was to click on rawshots.com, let's look at it, raw shots. There we go. I've clicked on it, and as you can see, it's added it over here in the URL bar, and it's pulled up the statistic for it. And now I can click. I know that raw shots, the traffic seems to be trending okay. It's not decreasing, that's for sure. And I've clicked on positions to see what are the kind of keywords that are driving traffic. A lot of it is their branded keyword, so we can, that's not going to help us. But animation maker, animation maker is a generic keyword which we could also try to rank for. Promo video maker, now that's another one that could be a good one. Whiteboard animation, right? So this is how I would sort of try to figure out who my competition is and how I can use that to get new opportunities. So I can also, on the left hand side here, click on this keyword gap tool. So as you can see, I've clicked on the keyword gap tool from the left hand side of the menu. And now I've added b2w.tv, and I'm going to add over here rawshots.com. And what I'm doing then is saying, hey, I want to look at all the keywords which are there. So I'm not looking, so these are different intersections which we can look at. I'm not interested in only looking at unique keywords of each domain, and I'm not looking at only the common keywords. I'm looking at all the keywords if I want to understand the opportunity. On the other hand, if I wanted to see what is the position of b2w.tv versus rawshots.com for the same keywords, then I look at common keywords. So let's do that for 1 second. So I did that, and I click on go after doing that. Now, this then creates a table over here, and it's showing me all the keywords, and it's sorted the filter by search volume. And so as we can see, this is a high volume keyword, 5,400, animation video maker, and b2w.tv is doing much better than rawshots.com for this particular keyword, right? But there are a lot of other keywords. Now I could sort this by rawshots.com, for example. So that way I'll find all the keywords now where raw shots is ranking, but then these first two will not help us because they are branded keywords. But make video, whiteboard video animation online. Now here, raw shots is number 3 and we are number 16. Similarly, whiteboard animation online. Raw shots is number 3. We brought B2W is number 17. Whiteboard animation maker. So you can again now take a screenshot of this and showcase this to the client to say, hey, these are opportunities for you. There's also an enable chart over here on the right side. If I click that, and that sort of tells us that, hey, B2W is orange, is the blue circle versus raw shots is the orange circle. It's ranking for about 3,300 different keywords versus B2W is ranking for 1,500 different keywords. So there's a big opportunity that we can tap into over here. So that's how I would use this tool. Yeah, that's it.